Welcome to the IT Career Energizer podcast. For anyone who wants to build and grow a career in IT, develop and improve your strengths and skills, be inspired and motivated by the successes of others, manage your career progression, and achieve your IT career goals. And now, your host, Phil Burgess.
Welcome to episode 351 of the IT Career Energizer podcast. My guest on today's show is the founder and creator of Digital Minds, an award-winning innovation program. Her forte is embedding design thinking, future-focused skills, and a creative mindset within traditional roles in the insurance and corporate tech worlds. Using her 30 years of technology and specialty insurance experience, she brings to life discovery, ideation, innovation, and cultural change within insurance organizations. She focuses her passion on developing career longevity and digital confidence across all ages and levels, and capability and curiosity in business practitioners of all roles. She has a deep-seated belief that to future-proof your career, an ever-agile generalist approach to support industry and customer needs is the key to happy staff, happy leaders, and happy clients. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the podcast Caroline Bedford.
Oh, thank you, Phil. And I feel that episode 351 is going to be one to watch for sure.
Indeed, exactly right. Caroline, I'd like to maybe start by understanding a little bit about your background, obviously from an insurance perspective, but also from a tech perspective. So can you maybe give us a bit of an intro, if you like, into your career and how you ended up creating Digital Minds?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, Phil. So I have to go a little way back in time to the late 80s, in fact, which is when I started to work in the specialty insurance sector in London, and then very quickly found my way into the technology space, which definitely wasn't called technology back then. So it was the late 80s, and I was working for a managing agent as a sort of a general administrator at the time. And it was when personal computers were just arriving on people's desks, if we can yet but believe that. And I was really lucky that there was an actuary in the team that I was working in, and he was a little bit of a rebel or somebody who was interested in technology as well. And back in the day, he was doing his analysis on Lotus 123, which was a very early spreadsheet system. I was quite interested in what he was doing. He was just delighted to have somebody interested in what he was doing, and as a result, was quite happy to answer my curious questions. So when some of the manual systems were going to be put online, a local area network was going to be built, and regional insurance offices were going to be connected. I put myself forward as somebody who would be an ideal person to be trained to be a systems administrator. Very much just one step ahead of anybody else at the time. And that's how I first sort of got to dip my toe into technology, really almost as it was being sort of rolled off the assembly line and appearing in the organization.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, just from my perspective and having worked in a similar area as yourself in the insurance sector, I always get the feeling that the insurance sector is a little bit of a step behind when it comes to technology. And I think that's partly cultural.
Mm-hmm.
But did you find the sort of adoption of technology and systems quite slow? Or did you find it was quite revolutionary within insurance?
Well, I think that there's different pockets of insurance, and I would say that some organisations are more forward thinking than others. But certainly back in the late 80s, early 90s, I think there was I think that there was a slow start, but once things had become computerized, as the phrase would go, things did move quite quickly at the time in terms of putting files online, email, so being able to have a database, very much black screen, green text, of course, but things did move into a sort of more technical world, as did I, and my main interest then was understanding how people could use this technology, and more importantly, how people could feel comfortable with using this technology, which is funny, isn't it? Because it's not really that different to now. Um, but certainly back in those days, it was very much people bending to the technology and not vice versa. So, from that, and my interest in bringing together tech and humanity, so to speak, that's when I became a business analyst, business consultant for a big global software company. And I used my knowledge and interest in technology and people to look at how technology could be used to improve working environments and improve processes and efficiencies.
Right. Okay. So we won't necessarily dip into your whole career because we could probably spend a long time in terms of discussing what companies and so forth. So, but what would be very useful to know is how you came to a point in your career where Digital Minds came about. So, what
Yeah.
was the trigger for that?
Yeah, so I sort of alluded to the fact that behavior and technology was always my thing, but um, not something that was really that interesting, because at that time, you know, teaching people how to get the best out of technology in some ways could be, shortcut keys in F7, which, to the best of my ability, there's only so much interest that you can put into that. Um, but things did start to change, and have begun continuing to change. So I would say, maybe in the insurance space, the term insure tech started to sort of bubble up into common parlance probably 5 or 6 years ago. And everybody was fearful of the disruptors, and Amazon's about to come and eat your lunch, and if you don't start to take notice, then no job will be left to have. And I kind of started looking and thinking, what do I think about that? What's my perception on that? Because sort of having 25 years of experience, I did have a few thoughts as to, certainly some urgency was helpful, but terrorizing people maybe not as ideal. So I worked for a big organization, DXC Technology, and had the opportunity to connect with insurance clients in a different way. I wanted to connect with them in a different way. I wanted to be able to do, we talk about thought leadership a lot, don't we? But I actually wanted to really create true thought leadership by bringing insurance practitioners into a sort of technology space and breaking down that them and us kind of culture, by showcasing what technology could do, what improvements it could bring, but importantly, how it needed humans to really be able to understand how to get best out of it. And this is where sort of the origin of Digital Minds came about. It came about as a kind of thought leadership program to help people with traditional roles in insurance, like underwriters and adjusters and actuaries, etc., to really sort of get behind the curtain of technology. At that time, everybody, was talking about blockchain and all sorts of things in the sort of 2015, and really help them sort of demystify what it meant, and also, as importantly, to bring those customers properly into the process. So it's just really understand the problems and the opportunities from their perspective, and that's how Digital Mind started. There was an ulterior motive as well, which was, at the time, especially in the specialty insurance market in London, where sort of Digital Minds was born. There was sort of underlying subcurrent that innovation and change in technology was really the domain of the under 35s, and only these amazing bright young things could actually have great ideas and make a difference. So part of Digital Minds came about because I had to create a club that I could be part of. Yeah, so I built my own.
Excellent. Right. Okay. I think that's as good a reason as any.
I think so too, definitely. I thought, hang on a second, we kind of we're talking about inclusivity, and I don't think you can be inclusive by being exclusive. So so Digital Mind started. We're now. That was while I was at DXC, and I was able to build Digital Minds into an innovation education process, formal process, and then in 2020, 2021, I left DXC and I created my own startup, insurtech startup called EDDI, which is an acronym and stands for Educate, Develop, Innovate and Inspire. And with the blessing of DXC, I was able to take Digital Minds into EDDI. EDDI's grown. We're now in year 3, which is a relief. And Digital Minds has just grown and grown. And now it's a formal education program to help people from the insurance arena, from more potentially traditional roles, become innovative, become design thinkers, and add those really important complementary tech skills to their business specialisms.
Brilliant. Okay, great. Well, that gives us a fantastic introduction, I think, into you and what EDDI and Digital Minds is all about. So thank you for that, Caroline. So we're going to go into more the standard process, if you like, within the interview for the podcast. So can you perhaps give us a career tip, one that the audience may not be aware of and perhaps should be?
Yeah, so a career tip. Well, career tips change, don't they? Depend as style and themes, trends change. But one that has stood me in great stead is a phrase I use a lot: practice your spontaneity. And what do I mean by that, Phil? So we often find ourselves in situations that, with a little bit of pre-thought and planning, we may have been able to predict. And one of the things that I teach my EDDI team and staff is to be as prepared as possible for as many eventualities as possible. So we make everything, I'm going to say, fingers crossed, we make everything look smooth and slick. We make everything look relaxed. We understand our audience, but that's because we are really prepared. We've practiced our spontaneity. So I just don't I know it sounds very traditional and old school, but I just don't think that you can beat preparation.
No, you can't. Absolutely right. Okay. And Caroline, can you share with us your worst career moment and what you learned from that experience?
Yeah, so I won't mention any names here, but my worst, I guess, one of my worst career moments has really been, and we all make mistakes. We need to make mistakes to learn from them. That's the whole tenet of innovation, anyway. But I feel that I had a short opportunity working for an organisation, and I realised quite early on that I didn't actually really believe in their product and their methods, and it made me quite unhappy. We had sort of portraying myself as part of this organisation and trying to put forward their products and their the methodologies as something that I would recommend to other clients. So it kind of sort of tested my authenticity and my values, and it was really important, actually, because I realised what I kind of already knew, which is I don't operate well unless I have a strong belief in the values of the organisation that I'm working in. So that was a really good learning moment, and it's something that I don't think that I will. I'll find myself in that situation again, hopefully.
No, absolutely. Do you think there's anything you could have done to identify that before you joined the company, or was it more to do with once you were there and understanding the culture and the values?
Yeah, I think I probably could. I think I could. This was quite a long time ago. I would ask better questions now. Certainly back then, I felt that the interview, I probably thought the interview was for them to find out about me. And now I think it's the opposite way around here. It's the interview as opportunity for you to find out, are they a good fit for you? Am I going to select this organization as much as vice versa? So that's why I feel quite confident. Well, firstly, as a CEO of an organization, fingers crossed, I'll be the one doing the interviewing. As I hope that Eddie will continue to grow. But certainly now I recognize that if a company isn't interested in you exploring their values, then the values are probably not ones that are going to match yours.
Yeah, that's very true. I do think as well that when companies often interview people, they do sort of focus on the role and what's required rather than necessarily what the company and the organization is like. So I think it is up to the candidate often at the end when they get the opportunity to ask questions. Asking questions specifically about the organization is actually a good thing to do. That's really when you can actually draw out the information that you need to be able to make that evaluation.
I completely agree. I think it's crucial, Phil, and I think the way that they answer those questions tell you a lot. Especially if you're being interviewed by somebody who perhaps is going to be your direct line management, that's even more important because you're going to be dealing with those people regularly.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Caroline, can you tell us about your career highlight?
I hope I haven't had it yet.
I should probably clarify that and say so far.
So far. Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, the day that Eddie was incorporated is a career highlight. Oh goodness me, that was moving out of a big global organization with all the comforts that comes with, and setting up a startup is it's not for the faint-hearted, for sure. And also having having a lot of contacts and clients and connections in your your digitized little black book that you've kind of collected over the years, and then wondering, okay, we've had a lot of positive comments, we've had a lot of verbal support. Is this actually going to translate and convert into business? One of my career highlights will always be creating Eddie, launching our flagship program, which is Digital Minds, and finding that there were actually people out there who wanted to buy it and put their hand in their pocket to put their people on the program. So that was absolutely a career highlight, as well as signing the Eddie incorporation documents with my very special pen, Phil. The special pen doesn't come out very often, but it did on that occasion. And then so quickly following on from then in kind of technology design thinking, moving from launching Digital Minds as the flagship product to really quite quickly afterwards creating different products within Eddie, innovation for leaders, digital safaris, teaching business practitioners the value of technology, recognizing that that there was more to be had from Eddie, and programs and ways in which we could help people be really engaged and energized about their careers in insurance. That those are really good feelings to have.
Good. Okay. And Caroline, can you tell us what excites you about the future of careers in tech?
So much. Firstly, I'm a real advocate of making sure that we have a really diverse community in technology. So I work with an organisation in the UK called the STEMettes, which might give you some idea by their name there. They are they are a non-profit organisation who support female talent in technology, science, technology, engineering and maths subjects. So I'm really excited to make technology accessible, because actually technology being more of a male domain back in the day was actually what attracted me to it. I was kind of wanted to prove that I could flourish in what was considered to be quite a non-female environment. So always been up for a challenge. So I'm excited about helping bring technology and technological careers to the masses. I'm excited about bringing technological careers to people, older people. We often in insurance talk about the next generation of talent. And I'm a bit like creating digital minds because I needed a club I could be part of. One of the things I'm really passionate about is that a lot of our talent is already in the industry and has been in this industry for decades. And with you know the economies being as they are, probably may be even working a lot longer than they may have originally hoped for. So technology, I'm looking forward to bringing older people into the technology world as well. But what really excites me, really, really, really excites me, almost as much as my special pen, is how technology is now becoming just the tool, and how the human centered aspects of using technology, designing technology, and steering technology is coming more to the fore. So if we're looking at artificial intelligence, machine learning, of course, some of those um, topics can be scary and cause anxiety, but ultimately what we've got to recognize is the human in the loop, there's the human in the training process that's really going to make that really going to make it fit for purpose. So I finally stopped having to focus on shortcut keys and pressing F7, and can really now get involved with the psychological aspects of how we can make technology work for us.
Yes, absolutely. It will be very interesting, won't it, with AI in particular, what happens within the insurance industry, because I can see AI is going to be a big factor as the industry matures, and particularly around technology anyway.
Massively. I mean, you look at things like digital twins, all that kind of data that we're going to be that we're already able to access, but we don't yet quite know really what to do with it. And so the more we've got programs that can give us insights. We tell them, we need to tell it what sort of insights that we want. We need to be able to feed back to support that loop. I'm just really excited about how we can potentially do even better work for our clients.
Yes. Good. Okay, we're going to go into the reveal round now. We're going to find out a little bit more about you and the way you think. You ready for this? So what first attracted you to a career in tech?
What attracted me to career in tech? It attracted me because it was a challenge. It was something that in the 80s wasn't female dominated, and I don't like that. So I wanted to prove a point.
Right. And what is the best career advice you've ever received?
The best career advice. Good. Let's have a little filter. The best career advice I've ever received is don't wait until you need a network to build one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, you've got to go out there and do it, haven't you? That's the key to that.
Absolutely, got to be brave. You got to be brave. Stop. Don't think that. Don't overestimate everybody else's ability. They probably feel the same way as you do. So be fake your confidence if you have to, but get out there and do it.
And what is the worst career advice you've ever received?
You need to specialize in something. You've started, so you need to finish. I hate that advice. I think it's terrible.
Right. And if you were to begin your career again in today's world, what would you do?
I would probably. I feel fortunate actually because the psychological side of things is something that really interests me. Behavioral side of things really interests me, but I don't like to focus. I like to know enough about a large number of subjects. So I think I probably would go more into psychological behavior. But what really interests me is the ability to be able to pair that with digital acceleration and technology and combine the human and the android side of it.
Okay. And what career objectives are you currently focusing on?
So Eddie is in its third year. So what I would really like to do, so what we are doing brilliantly with Eddie is we are bringing we're demystifying technology for non-tech people, and we are helping people from insurance world and a corporate world become more design thinkers. We're looking to globalize Eddie. So we want to create that innovation for all movement. And my career objective is to create a model using some of the great things that we have learned and digitalized in our other programs, and to seek partners for those across the globe.
Very good. And what's the number one non-technical skill that has helped you in your career so far?
I would have said originally it was my memory, but now that I'm over 50, I don't think I have one anymore. Hopefully that will come back at some point. I would say something that I used to think was just a personality, but now I recognize as a skill. It's being able to have great questioning, be able to bring energy, the power of being able to connect with people and to connect people, and ultimately also respecting other people.
Yes. And what do you do to keep your own career energized?
Well, I'm really lucky in that I love what I do. I'm a perpetual learner. I'm surrounded. I've got a great network of people who think differently to me, but I've also got a fantastic inner circle of 5 particular really talented women who keep me fresh with their perspective, and also keep me on my game with competitiveness, because they always seem to be learning something new, and I need to keep up. But you got to keep up, yeah. But having that perpetual learn and be stimulated by people who are interesting and interested.
Yeah. And I don't know whether this is possible, but what do you do in your spare time away from technology?
It's definitely possible. It's not away from technology because I use technology, but I am a science fiction fiend. In
Right.
particular, aliens and zombies. In fact, I'd probably say I'm a zombie junkie. So yeah, anything to do with immersing myself in a really, well, actually, I like good quality zombies actually. But yeah, science fiction. My husband hates it because he's really not a science fiction fan. But you will
Okay.
find me watching World War Z, watching The Last of Us, or essentially anything that is future focused and has a lot of gore in it.
Ah, right. Okay. So a bit of a combination of escapism and gore and horror.
Definitely.
Good. Okay. So, Caroline, can you share with us a parting piece of career advice?
Yeah. So I guess one of the things that I would always say to people, especially women, because women tend to sometimes think about why they can't do something rather than why they can, but it's not just a female thing. I would say, if somebody offers you an opportunity that you want, say yes and figure out how to do it afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people tend to put up sort of false walls, don't they, in terms of being able to feel they have confidence of doing something. They always find reasons why not, as opposed to why they can.
Absolutely, absolutely. And setting yourself a challenge, it's what you learn about yourself on the journey. It's not the outcome and the ultimate result that's really important.
Indeed, exactly. Good. And Caroline, how can we find out more about you and connect with you?
A number of different ways. Please do connect with me on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is one of the tech platforms that I'm really impressed, actually, with the way that it has evolved over the years. So find that as a good example. So connect with me on LinkedIn, Caroline Bedford. You can come up to our website, which is www.edii.group. That is EDII.group. Or you can send us an email, or you can follow our YouTube channel. So, and you can see some of the videos that we do with some of the clients that we work with, and some of our design thinking tips and techniques. There's a number of ways to connect. Just find one.
Fantastic. Caroline, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. It's been great chatting with you.
You are very welcome. I have really enjoyed it, and maybe I'll go off and watch a zombie film now.
Very good. Hi, Phil here again. Well, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with today's guest. You can find full show notes on the website at itcareerenergizer.com/e and the number of the episode you've been listening to. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, please make sure that you do so that you get episodes automatically downloaded to your device every Monday. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the IT Career Energizer podcast. To find out more about building a successful career in IT, visit itcareerenergizer.com.